In this module, we're going to focus on how to use would have with the past. So let's have some examples of this first of all. In English, we might say, I would have done it, but I didn't have time. So here you see the would have like being used in the past. I would have done it. Or you would have been shocked to see how dirty the house was. Here we have, you would have been shocked. Or she would have arrived earlier, but her flight was delayed. If he was there, we would have tried to convince him. So you can see that in English, we're using this would have with the past quite a lot. Now, to do that in Spanish, what we need to do is combine two previous models together. The first step is to grab our auxiliary verb haber and add to that ria. So we know that ria sound represents would with Spanish verbs. And instead of it being habería, it contracts and it goes to habría, which is much easier to pronounce. So this habría stands for would have when we're talking in the past. Now, the other thing we need to do, I suppose step 2, is to add the ado or ido sound. So this is known as the past participle of the verb. This is going to make a lot more sense now as we go through some examples. Let's start from 0 and just take the verb to speak, which is hablar. So here we have the infinitive, the full verb. Now, we know to say I have spoken, that would be he hablado. Here we have the he coming from haber, which means I have, and hablado is the past participle, where we have the ado for AR verbs and ido if it is not an AR verb. So I have spoken, he hablado. Now what we want to do is make the leap into I would have spoken. So the would have is habría and the spoken remains as hablado. So we get habría hablado. This is I would have and spoken hablado. Habría hablado. If we take an ER verb, say to eat, so we have comer. Now we have ER. And we want to say I have eaten. That would be he comido. Here we have our ido sound, comido, and the e standing for I have. So I have eaten, he comido. Again, we want to make the leap into I would have eaten. So we get habría comido. You see how the past participle doesn't change. So all of that is going to be very familiar territory. What's changing is the would have here. So habría, I would have comido, eaten. Now let's do an IR verb example. To go out, we have salir, salir. To express I have gone out, it would be he salido, he salido. Again, we want to make the leap now to I would have gone out. So you take your habría, I would have, and simply add the same past participle. So habría salido, I would have gone out. So this is more or less how it works with would have and the past. The key thing to take away is that you're going to be using this platform of habría for would have, and we're going to fill out all the rest of the angles very soon.